Tottenham got a win. I think we've got something like 5 wins in 7, maybe 6 and 8 in the Premier League. Doesn't tell the story of Tottenham, though, but we have to do this. Let's do the reaction show. Hello and welcome to PRTV. I'm Sam Spurs for Life. I'm back, and this is your reaction show for the game Tottenham Hotspur versus Forest. 3-1 to Tottenham at the weekend. The game kicked off 3 p.m. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Blah, 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 blah. But we want to just do this. We want to talk about Spurs for a half hour or so. In the house, joining me as per usual. Here we go. The main people, the main men. SSS, we like to call ourselves. Sam Spurs for Life, Sid Spurs, and Sean Hurl. Welcome. Gentlemen, as you can see, I changed my name back. It was San Antonio. It was San. Was it Sid? I think it was San Antonio.
San Antonio, yeah.
For a little while, but I've now decided I'll go back to being just Spurs. Welcome, gents. Let's do this then. 3-1 to Tottenham. Sean, have you caught up with the game on Spurs Play? Did you see it? Do you want to see it? It was actually a good performance. I'm not going to lie. Me and Sid talked about the game in a previous show. I said this game has to be about the players turning up, regardless of what Conte did, because I didn't know whether Conte was going to be throwing madnesses around there and just, playing Sanchez as centre forward and playing Porro in goal and stuff like that. I had no idea. From what he was saying, he was going to do some kamikaze business, but he put out a team good enough to win. He challenged Richarlison. That seemed to work. And we actually got the players playing. I don't think there was too dissimilar to anything they've done tactically, but it just seemed a bit more of an effort, certainly a bit more of an effort from Richarlison. And to add to that, Forest weren't really that good. So the combination meant that we got 2 goals in the first half, which we haven't seen for a little while. And we were comfortable, got a little bit raggedy towards the end of the goal, and they could have had a second one. Forster played well, made some good saves, and I do like that goalkeeper. But saying all of that, Sean, did you catch up with the game, and what was your thoughts on the performance of the players, the team, Conte, the club itself? What's your take on things?
The Turin troll, Mr. Conte. Yeah, I have to say he did not. He burnt his bridges with me over the course of the last week or so, but fair dues. He challenged Richarlison. Richarlison responded. I don't know how Richarlison's goal was chalked off. I've looked at it 100 times now, and it's a goal every time. But let's not get too carried away. That was a shocking performance by Nottingham Forest, given that they're fighting for their lives to stay in the Premier League. I thought we were good in parts. I do wish that sometimes we'd go for the jugular, because goal difference can have such a massive difference at the end of the season, and obviously Liverpool had racked up 7 last week or the week before, so it would have been nice to have really put them to the sword and done something about our ridiculous goal difference. Strange things, strange times. As you were saying, I believe I've just heard that on the current form table, since Sean Dyche was appointed Everton manager, we are top of the table. And yet I am still cut to the quick. I have a dagger in my heart with the name Sheffield United on it. And I can't get over it. I just cannot get over that. And that is on Conte. And I'm sorry. Apologies in the programmes. The programme notes he doesn't even write. It just doesn't do it for me. And to troll us as putting, not having any patience. Read the room, Antonio. Read the room. We've been the most patient fan base in the Premier League, and we've got damn all for it. Yes, I don't mind you calling out the higher ups above you, but don't turn on the fans. Don't ever turn on the fans. And if you continue to do that and keep running down our football club, he's making us look like we're a small club, and he's doing us a favour. I would drive him to Stansted and stick him on the first plane to Turin after what he said last week.
Strong words there. Strong words there from Mr. Hell. Before I bring you into it, I'm just going to I was away as I said, I've come back from the sunny Dominican Republic, people. As you can see, I look refreshed because I didn't really watch much of Spurs. But I've kind of heard a few rumblings, and obviously the Friday interview before the game, and obviously the post-match reaction of Richarlison in the game before, etc., etc. There's a lot going on. For me, the typically similar to Jose's situation, these managers are very, very stubborn. It's their way or no way. And what seems to happen is they have a bit of a strop. They get a bit of a tantrum, they throw the toys out in the pram. But what I don't like about that is, as you said, everybody starts to get it. The fans start to get it. Do you know what I mean? The players start getting thrown in the mix. It's like, he tried to explain away that Sanchez substitution in Milan, and I kind of got it from a perspective of, But as Addy Gold said, that means he made a mistake, because he was then assuming he couldn't make another substitution if it went to extra time, because he brought extra time into it, which meant there was an extra sub that you could have brought in. So knowing that, he was just playing kamikaze, in my opinion. He just wants to try and tell people, listen, I'm the manager here. You lot don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. In so many words. And if you're winning games comfortably and you're winning games like the likes of Pep Guardiola, even the likes of Mikel Arteta, you can basically almost say what you want to a certain degree. But most of the time, the fans are going to be with you anyway. So what I can't understand is why he would just play this mission of doing what he wants. One, because of his own reputation, but two, the fact that we're in a decent position in the league. We're in a decent position in the league. We've won 5 out of 7 games. I think, as you just said, we're top of the form guide of 7 games recently, which is unbelievable for Spurs because of the turmoil that's been going on. So I don't understand. I've said before many a times, we'll have to do this in another show. There's a lot more than just eating. There's a lot more than just content. There's a lot more than just the players. There's a massive, massive problem that needs to be rectified. And it's quite simple to start from, but I just don't know how, when, or why the club haven't done all this. Sid, you watched the game. We both said there was going to be a victory. How did you see the game from your perspective?
We did something that we don't normally do and score in the first half. And I think from the offset, you could see that they were up for it. I think with that skip pass that put Richarlison through and whichever lines they drew to make that offside. I mean, you know what? I still want to know why or how it was ruled offside. And they'll obviously come up with their excuses, but that pass by Skip for that. And then the control and finish was madness. But I think what Sean was saying, and I think somebody else said it over the weekend, is how the hell did we lose to this Forest side in the Cup? Did we lose to Forest in the Cup? Yet on Saturday, we just played completely different and we just put them to sword. However, when they got one back, I mean, just before they scored that one, Aurier had a great header, which Forster made a great save. And then next corner, they score. Then there's a penalty. If that penalty would have gone in, which it didn't anyway, it would have been a bloody hell of a ride, and it would have been, oh no, here we go. Only Tottenham come 3-0 up and almost blow it. But we didn't. And performance looked all right. The players seemed to be a bit up for it as well. And, Conte's antics, well, not antics, but the usual Conte celebrations and stuff like that on the touchline was noticeable as well. And then obviously the flip side that, who said it? I think David said it or somebody said it, that at the final whistle, he just went straight down the tunnel. So I don't know. And I think I said in the preview show, I'm just taking every game as it comes now. I'm not going to get overexcited. I'm not going to get deflated. We just take each game as it comes. And if we win, we win. If we lose, then we lose. At least you know what you're going to expect.
Yeah, and that's how managers and players usually look at games. You can't be too high after you win. You can't be too low after you lose. You've got to be, almost measurable in how you're. This is what I feel I am now, just measurable. Even in the previous shows, there's no point in saying, oh, well, we're going to smash them 4-0. I'm just like, well, we could win it this much if these players play. We could have this result if they start off the game like this. We could have this result if the other teammates are good. We don't know. There's so many variables. I'm not. What I can't now do is say, no, this is going to happen because this player's going to play like that, because I don't know. The only consistency that we've got in players is Harry Kane. 20 league goals this season. This guy, I've said it on the group chat before, and people might disagree. If we sell him for 100 million in the summer, it will be one of the biggest mistakes we'd have made, because I don't care what we're saying. I said it in the group, 60 million for Richarlison, 100 million for Anthony. Both those two players don't have anywhere close to the output that Kane's got. So I don't want to hear people telling me that, selling Kane for 100 million is going to make us better in the long run. We've got to sort out how and why players are coming to this club without the managers say so. That's what I want to know. What's going on in the transfer window still? We can probably discuss that a bit later. But Sean, when he came out with that, basically, was there one player that he actually said that it was his, or didn't disprove that wasn't? Because he really just went off, and even Perisic wasn't his first choice as a wing back, but he's probably a player that he said, yeah, we'll have him. But none of the others, I didn't hear him glowing references about any of the other players. That is more worrying and frightening than anything. And if people think Conte is just going to say, okay, I'm going to sign in the summertime, why would you do that if you're not getting players that you want? That don't make any sense to me, no matter how much you're getting paid. Talk to me about that situation.
I mean, you're starting to doubt that any of the players that came in the summer he wanted. Basuma, Spence, Perisic, Longley, and he's just replaced Spence from the beginning of the season with Danjuma in the second half of the season, and I just can't go it anymore. You've got a squad. The players are good enough that they've been recruited. You have to use them, and that means changing formation. That means whatever it takes to use those players, because you're going to wear some players out, and some players are looking worn out. We rely on gargantuan performances from Højbjerg, but getting back to, I missed it from my earlier rant, but did you notice how Conte kept, when he said, I listened to the Richarlison interview and he was selfish. He was, it was all about me. He is the biggest, it's all about me. It's protecting brand Conte at all costs. And that to me, he's a closed book, and I really wish that Levy would be what he would normally do and pull the trigger and get someone in to see us through to the end of the season, and we can, it's just not. It's a nonsense.
You know what?
And the whole club, from top to bottom, Levy is still pulling too many strings. PRTV is just waiting for the inevitable ban from football. So we haven't got, we've got a director who's working, as in the background, but could be, put out on his ear at any time. And then we've got a coach who clearly doesn't want to be at Tottenham and thinks we're too small fry for him. We'll stick it up you, Conte. Our club has got a better Champions League record than you have in 3 clubs.
He's gone.
So stick that up you. I've fucking had enough of you.
There we go, fans. We can see this is a passionate, emotional business. So
this is a football club I follow for fucking 50 years. I've seen us win things. I don't want that jumped up little squirt from Turin pissing on us anymore. Had enough of it.
There you go, people. That's the view of Mr. Sean Hale. And like I said, there's not too much things I can't disagree with in there. However, what I will say is, I don't think it would be a good idea to get rid of Conte now. The reason being, I think Conte's now, as you said, probably in a bit of self-preservation. And I was watching Ali Gold's podcast yesterday, and it made me think. I really believe that he's going to say, if he can get top 4 with Spurs for 2 years that he's been here, that will be a miracle. That's his miracle. So his now challenges, now we're out of all the cups. Funny enough, that was the same as last season. Funny enough, that was the same as probably season before that. And before that, there's a serious pattern going on here. And it's clear the money involved with getting 4th place in comparison to winning the FA Cup or the League Cup is non-comparison. So there's no point in winning them trophies for certain people within the club. And I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to go into that today. But what I'm saying is it's clear to me what's happening. Now, whether the managers can come out personally and say that, Jose was saying there's things about the club I can't tell you. Maybe this is one of the things he's had to sign as an NDA. This is actually what our philosophy and vision is. It's not for anything else other than to get as much money and qualify for Champions League every year, because we know that 60 million that we've earned for round 16 this year is more than the 20-something million or 18-something million for winning the FA Cup. Clear as daylight to me. So I'm just of the fact that Conte now wants to make sure his legacy, if that's the right phrase, or his self-preservation towards his next job is intact by at least securing top 4 for Spurs 2 years in a row. Sid, what's your thoughts? Because did you see anything in the game that made you think, oh, that's Conte's done something, he's tweaked something? Or was it just a case of these players are just now got this to play for and that's their only focus? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
It doesn't change anything, does it? It's the same system he plays week in, week out. The only thing that changes is personnel. And what he did say after his on the post-match interview was that the fans need to realize, and everybody needs to realize, that I'm making substitutions. I'm dropping players because they need a rest. I dropped Son last week because he's played too many games. He needed a rest. So I brought in Richarlison. Likewise with Kulusevski today, he needed a rest. So I've brought in Richarlison. He says, I'm not going to drop players just for the sake of it. So basically, he's doing what he does best, isn't it? He's obviously, the fans have been making uproars, pundits have, everybody else has been saying, you know what, he needs to play this player, that player, what's going on? Son needs to be dropped, blah, blah, blah. And he's counteracted that by saying they're tired, I need to rest them. It's all about rotation. So all he's doing is just moving players around. And if it works, then everybody's like, oh, yes, it works. And Conte's like, yes, it works. If it doesn't work, then he blames somebody else for it. He's not going to take the blame for it himself. So on Saturday, he made the changes that were necessary after the midweek game. So, Richarlison we didn't think he was going to start after what he said, but maybe that was what he said was, you know what?
Actually, a good piece of management. If I'm honest with you, it was a good piece of management. I didn't think of it like that because I thought Conte was going to be too stubborn, but it was actually a very good piece of man management.
Yeah. And deep down, he's probably thought, you know what? I'm going to put you in. You've opened your mouth. You've run your mouth. Now I'm going to put you on the pitch because you want to play. Go out there now and play and let you prove to the fans whether you was right or wrong. And I thought Richarlison, I think a lot of people made him the man of the match on Saturday, and he had a decent game. Again, he should have scored, but he didn't. But they made him man of the match. So it's just, it's just bits. It's picking bits here and picking bits there now with Conte, and he's going to try and play the fans and play, the media and everything. And if he's right, he's going to take the plaudits. If he's wrong,
you're going to blame everybody else.
Exactly.
That's an easy job to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the easiest job in the world. When it goes right, I take all the plaudits. When it goes wrong, it wasn't my fault. It was them lot. They ain't got enough players. Can't rotate. The players are injured. Oh, they ain't got. This is what I'm saying. So again, we've got another guest. But I like it on this side. This side's better. Here we go.
Hello, Pam.
PvP's joined us in the house, and we are now fully equipped as the PRTV crew. Right, let's keep on going, Pam. You ain't missed too much. We're just chatting about Conte. But we shouldn't really be just digging too much on Conte. But before we move on to the actual stats of the game that Sid has so kindly put together, let me just make sure that they're all there.
They're all there, man. Don't worry.
I'm not going to worry then. Let's go back first. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's chat to you, Pav. Pav, give us your thoughts on the game on Saturday. The result, all in, was well needed, obviously. But surprisingly, our form, I think we've won 5 games out of the last 7, or won 5 out of 7 in the league. Puts us top of the form table with 7 games played. Madness.
I think, do you know what? That was a better game than the last couple of games that we've had. Much needed win. And I'm going to put one thing down to it. Richarlison starting. Okay, I said this with Sid as well. Richarlison starting ahead of Kulu makes a big difference. And you could see how much of an impact he actually had. And we started off the game pretty well, I think. Second half, conceding that goal though was very, very disappointing. Shouldn't have conceded that. But do you know what? Overall, I think much better performance from a lot of the players. But I was very happy that Son scored as well. And that Richarlison goal should not have been offside. But do you know what? Can't do anything about it now, can we? So, yeah, definitely deserve the 3 points.
VAR is
ruining football.
It's got a life of its own. I don't know why, what they're using it for. I have no idea when they use it, why they use it. But the fact is, they're not even getting the decisions right, which is just mad.
No.
That's the crazy bit. They're not getting the decisions right. If they were taking 10 hours to get it right, I'd be like, it's a bit long, but they got it right. But they're getting stuff wrong, and it's mad. It's crazy. Right then, let's have a look at this. 3-1. I need to just get the banners off the bottom. Let me do this properly. Possession 55% to us, 45 to them. 15 shots to their 9. Shots on target 7 to 5. Corners 2, 10 to them. Fouls 13 each. And if you look at that, that's like a pretty close game for an away team. That's pretty decent stats. The fact that Forest were awful makes me even a bit more worried about these stats. But the fact we got 3 goals, they only scored 1. They could have had a second one. There was a few games in there, a few moments in there where, we could have probably had a few more goals. Son had that chance to make it 100 goals, didn't quite do what he would normally do, but that's how it goes. Looking at the team, I like this. I like Sid. You've done yourself wonders, my friend. 3 yellow cards there, and the substitutions we can see. We had Sarr come on for Skip very late on in that game. Lucas Vibes Mora came on for Son, and Kulusevski for Richarlison. Again, if we're looking at the team, is pretty much now almost a set back 5. You could probably say Porro in there, potentially for Royal, but Royal has got a slight injury. So again, I think that looks like the back 5. Sid, looking at that team there, do you like Ben Davies at left wing back? Because I actually quite like him now. I do like him at left wing back. He's attacking as hell. I ain't seen any wing backs attack like he does. Plus, as well, I think he occupies spaces better than what Perisic and Son were doing.
Listen, I'll have Sessegnon back as well now ahead of Perisic. And slowly, people are now seeing what I saw from the beginning with Perisic. Doesn't do much. He wanted that World Cup. He's got his World Cup. And now he's just sat there waiting for his move back to Milan.
The Croatian Bale. That's what I call him now. The Croatian Bale.
No, he's not. You're insulting Gareth Bale there. Bale puts in a performance. He puts in something. This guy can't even put a corner in. You know what I mean? So it was good. And I'm liking Ben Davies there because he gives a lot more. He goes forward. He comes bombing back. He puts them tackles in. When the teams are attacking, you're not as much worried as you are with Perisic at the back. And every time I've seen, even the last game I went to, Perisic, even when he's in that defensive situation, he loses the ball. Simple passing wasn't doing. So Conte, if you're watching, please, this guy does need a rest for the rest of the season. So please rest him. Leave him out. Let him rest. Send him away to a hot country somewhere. Let him get a suntan. I don't care. Ben Davies can start at left wing back for me. I think he's doing all right. And like you said, Sam, that back 5, I think won't change apart from Porro and Emerson Royal when Emerson Royal gets fit. I think them 2 will alternate. But the other 4, I think now that should be the team for the remainder of the season. Can't hear you, Sham.
I didn't realise I was being asked anything.
Sam, can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I was chatting away. I was just saying that back 5, including, say it's a back 6, with Forster in goal, he's much better with his feet than Lloris. And I was saying, if they came back tomorrow and said, oh, Lloris is fit, I'd say, that's all right. You can stay on the bench, my friend, because I don't want to see Lloris in goal at the moment. This guy, again, going back to the Ali Gold interview, could this be our best signing of the summer window? And if so, it's a travesty. He came on a free. He's 34 years old. He's coming like what Joe, what's his name? The other, what's Joe? What's the
Rogan.
Manchester City? Joe Hart, Joe Rogan, Joe
goalkeeper.
Joe Hart.
Joe
When Joe
Hart.
Hart came out, I thought Joe Hart came for a Billy picnic and fries. He did. This guy, at least, he's got assurance. He made a bit of a rick when he came out for the goal. I can give him that because I've seen Lloris make a lot more ricks than that in shorter periods of time. What I do like about him is man's confident at taking the ball in any position of any side. He took one off his chest, brought it down, sprayed it off his right foot. He took one off on the other side, moved it across, sprayed it off his left foot. That's what you want from a keeper. And also, he's a big, commanding keeper. So the defense thing, yeah, if he says he's coming for that ball, he's going to do it. Like I said, he made that little bit of a rip for that goal, but I'll forgive him for that. But when he needed to make saves, he made saves. When he needed to save a penalty to keep the score down, to make it look like it was a better performance than it possibly was, because at 3-2, that would not have been a good scoreline for us to have.
No.
This guy's at least made us believe that we should have a keeper of, and he's not even the world's best. He's not the world's best, but look how much more confidence you have when you see him in goal than that other geezer. Talk to me, somebody.
One thing I would say about him, though, right, is he's doing a good job at the moment. The only little thing I would say is shots, even that penalty, he parries it straight back into the middle of the box. He doesn't parry it away. He doesn't push it away. Now, the first thing a keeper is taught is when there's a shot at you, if you're making the save, parry it away, push it out. But with Forster, for some reason, everything seems to come back in the box. And look at the penalty. If there would have been somebody following on from the initial penalty, it's a goal because he come back straight into the middle. But apart from that, I agree with you, Sam. He's doing pretty well. He's doing very well, in fact.
Sean, before I come back to Pav again, I'm going to ask Sean. Goalkeepers are a major important part in any club, in any jigsaw for a football team. But when you've got someone who's comfortable at the back, it certainly makes everybody in front a little bit easier. So, again, when I used to see Lloris make mistakes, it's like then that ripple effect goes into Dyer's body and he starts doing all the shaky business and makes mistakes. And that ripple effect then goes over into the Davis area and he starts doing the shaky. And this is what happens. The players don't have the confidence. It has to start from the back. Now, goalkeeper's commanding. He makes sure he's confident. I haven't heard him talk, but I can assume that he's at least commanding enough to make sure players are in the right position. And they do look a bit more assured. Yes, the goal shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have had a penalty because of the fact that we just switched off a little bit. But is this team now, with Forster in goal and a settled back 5 or 6, depending on who you play, as he's mentioned about Romero, is this who we're going to see towards the end of the season? And what do you want to see from this team now, Sean, from now until the end of the season?
I just want to see some wins.
Simple.
11 games, or wherever it is I've got left. I don't want 11 wins. You know, that's all I want. I don't care about. Well, I do care about performances. That would be wrong, but I know I'm not going to get performances because of the Turin troll that's standing on the side of our fucking pitch. Bloody idiot! If he starts slagging the fans off one more time, I'm going to go and punch him myself. I've had enough of him. Oh, he's a winner. He's a fraud. Absolute fraud. We've got 3 more points of this season at the same stage this season that we did last season. And he's had a pre-season. He's had 2 windows. And he's not improved enough of the players. And he needs to take some responsibility. But no, it's deflect. Nah, I don't care. Do you know what? I don't really care. I'm only down to do 1 more game, and that's because my nephew's over from Australia, and that's all I care about. I'm going to see him on the 8th of April at the Brighton game. I couldn't give a toss. I don't even want to watch them anymore. Horrible man.
I'll move over to you quietly, Pav. Pav, do you want to say something next? Because I think Sean's not very happy. I agree, Sean. We can't be happy with what we've seen so far. We can't be happy with what this manager's come out and said. But all I will say from this point is we are pretty much like we were last season. We know what happened at the end of last season. I'm pretty sure that the same challenges are going to be applied by Conte to the players. He's already come out and said the club already know what I'm doing. That don't sound very positive to me, as if to say I'm going to be signing an extension when he's already said, I didn't sign that player. I never wanted him. Dan Juma, he's a winger. Why is he brought to a club where I need 10s? Don't make no sense. So when he's saying stuff like that, for him then to come in June and say, I'm going to sign on the dotted line, I can't see it myself. Pav, what do you see for us for the rest of this summer? Sorry, the rest of this season. And I think we'll leave the summertime till we'll have a talking point. So we can, us four can get together and have a chat on that, because it could be here for a bloody long time.
This is Spurs we're talking about. I'd be lying if I said, nah, it's true though. I'd be lying if I said that I could see us winning these 11 games. No, it's not. As much as we want it to happen, it's not going to happen. Let's be realistic, okay? We'd be lucky if we get 2 wins, okay? With him in charge still. I'm with you, Sean, on this. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, do you know what? We can get top 3. We can get top 3. Top 3. Okay, I don't care. At this point, we're out of the FA Cup. We're out of the Carabao Cup. We're out of the Champions League. We've got nothing other than the Prem. Okay, fair enough. We can get top 4, potentially.
Why?
It still doesn't mean anything. At this point,
back to the Champions League to bin it off in the 5th round, in the round of 16.
I've said this for the last 6-7 years.
Exactly.
I said the top 4 doesn't make any. It means nothing. People say,
Exactly.
"Oh well, you can bring in the better players. You can do."
We're going to have a home
this."
tie against Blackburn. Home
Conte
tie against Blackburn.
Yeah, when Conte said, "Oh, do you know what? Finishing in top 4 is like a trophy for Spurs." Oh, do you know what?
Do you remember the
I don't wanna
grey-haired
even get
one?
started on
The
that.
grey-haired Sith Lord
There you
down the
go.
road that used to say that.
Sean.
He started that shit, and everybody's run with it. And it's come back into fashion again. I thought it kind of gone out of fashion a little bit, but it's back in fashion again, big time. Sid, I'm going to go back and show this team because I want to have a look at this team again. The midfield too. I'm actually quite liking the midfield too as they play together, Houbier and Skip. We've got Sarr in the background as well, who's performed well in games. So we've got a trio there. If rotated well, now we've only got 1 game a week, should be okay. Do you think the midfield is where we might have a little bit of a problem? Because I think up front, now that we've got Lucas Vibes-Moura back, that, you know, we might be okay in the front area. He can't trap a bag of cement. It looks like Dan Juma is just, you know, Stan Juma. You might as well call him Stan Juma because he ain't going to play no games. So just call him Stan Juma. Kulusevski and Richarlison should fight out for them positions. But Son, talk to me about Son.
What do you want me to say? Son is having an horrible
Dead
season.
food.
Horrible season. Simple as.
Invisible.
Go on, carry on about Son. Unless the people at least have some positivity whilst they're having
that injury to the one I got in his face, I think has destroyed his confidence, and we're not seeing the best of him now. He reminds me a little bit of Van Dijk, where the injury. I mean, any player that comes back with some kind of a serious injury or whatever, they're never back to their fit best. And Son's just not. He just can't get into it. Anything, even what he used to do, the running with the balls, running at players. You know, when he's so 50-50, you know he ain't gonna go for it because he's probably thinking about his face. And then the modeling the next day he's got to do on a catwalk. But he's just confidence with that guy. I don't know what it is and how they're going to get it back, but it's just not happening. His first touch is just eluding him. He seems to be going away from goal more now than he goes towards goal. And you were just so on about the front three and the middle two. I think the midfield, like you said, we saw there as well, is decent at the moment, but we still need some steel in there. We still need 1 or 2 extras. Bentancur's going to come back. Is he going to be the same player when he comes back? Because he's going to be out for quite a while with the ACL that he's got. The front 3 or 4 or 5 is worrying me. It is worrying me because apart from Kane, the rest of them, Richarlison hasn't scored in Prem at all this season. With Kulusevski, like Pav was saying, he's just hit and miss at the moment, and you don't know when he's going to put a little bit of performance in, but he needs to be performing from the offset, not 10 minutes into the second half or whatever. Moura is just getting his paycheck now until the end of the season because he's going. So I don't even know why he's even in the squad. because they tried to get rid of him when he didn't want to go. So he's just there. And like you said, but Danjuma, I don't know what's going on. It's not a Conte player. So I am worried. You know, I am worried apart from Kane. The rest of them are just not firing at all. This is a team or strike force that we had last season that were firing on all cylinders. And for everyone apart from Kane to be that bad this season, it's weird. It's unfortunate, but you'd expect at least two of them to be on song at some point. But no, it's just Kane. And the rest are playing second, third fiddles, aren't they?
They're not even playing the fiddle. I think they're playing, you know, them harmonica things. They're not playing fiddles. They're not, because he's the only one who's got a fiddle. Everybody else is doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
As I keep saying, 20 goals. If there wasn't Haaland in this season, we'd be raving about Harry Kane. In a team that's not really progressed since last season, we'd be raving about it. I don't know how many other goals he's got combined to make, but I'm telling you now, this is the only reason why Harry Kane would stay with Spurs. Because if they don't potentially sell him to any other Premier League club, I don't think he wants to go abroad. I really think he wants his Alan Shearer record. And he can do it in 3 seasons. He could probably get, let's say, 5 or 6 goals and get within 50 goals this season, potentially. And then it means 2 seasons of 15 and 1 season of 20. That's not even beyond the shadows of doubts for Harry Kane. It's not. So that's what he's going for. Anybody tells me, and anybody can show me any different, I'm willing to hear. So let's just look at these stats of his that he had from the game. Goals 2, shots 4, expected goals 1.05, shots on target 3, touches in the opposition box 7. First on all of those columns. Matthew Bassett, Spurs need a rebuild. We need foundations, fam. We can rebuild as much as we like. We don't have no foundations to build on. So that rebuild is just going to fall over like all the other rebuilds that we've had. Yeah, guys, without Harry Kane, let's have a quick, just a quick touch. I just want to give me a 30 seconds view. Where would, oh no, I'm going to try and word it differently because I don't want people to think I'm trying to get Harry Kane out of this club here. Without, let's say, where do you think we'd be without Harry Kane next season? Even if we got 100 million for him, Sean, you start off. Just a league position, if whatever you think, based on whatever you think might come in. If they spend this 100 million wisely, if they don't, whatever. And this 100 million, I'm just using that as a figure, people, because as I said, I don't think that's enough personally.
I think it's the difference between 4th and a Europa League place. That's how important he is. I think we'd be 6th, 7th.
I agree. And that is the crux of the matter. Without him, we're not Champions League. Without him, there is no 60 million to get to round of 16 because we wouldn't be making it. So without him next season, we don't get to the Champions League because we'll be battling for 7th and 8th. With him and 1 or 2 players and even a manager of half decency who knows how to manage players as a coach as opposed to management, you can coach these. I think we could still get top 4 with Harry Kane in the side. Without him, no chance. Pav, what's your thoughts?
I agree with Sean. We rely heavily on Kane, and I think without him, we would not be in the position that we are in at the moment. I think 7th, 8th. I think we rely on him too much, and I think if he does go in the summer and we don't get a replacement that's of good quality as his standard or something similar to it, then we are in deep trouble.
The only quality that we can get into Spurs that is likely to even come close to that, we'd have to have someone like Haaland. Anybody untrusted in the Prem is a gamble. There's people talk about this Oshim and players like this and all this. Yeah, that's fantastic. I've seen a load of players come with massive potential to Spurs, and it might take them 6 months, it might take them a year, it might not take them, they might not even get there. But they never seem to really get better than what they were before they came. So I'm just thinking to myself, okay, let's say we spend 80 million on, remember, Richarlison cost 60, and I'm going to say it again, Anthony cost 100 mil, 160 mil. If you're telling me we got those 2 players and replace Kane, would you be happy? F no, I wouldn't be happy because there's no chance they're scoring that many goals. So it's rubbish about this 100, if it is 100 mil. Sid, your thoughts?
My thoughts are Rick Astley, mate. Rick Astley, because Harry Kane is going to say, never going to give you up. never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye. Now, do you know what? I agree with what Sean. Calvin, Sean, you know what? Without him, you're right. We would be anywhere near them dizzy heights. Never mind the league, Champions League. And yes, I agree with you as well. But in terms of Anthony, you know, they paid 100 million for him, and look what they've got, right? I'll tell you something. You're not going to like this. Not a lot, but you're not going to like it. They done the awards today, didn't they? And they interviewed Edu, the Arsenal director of football, and they asked him what was going on, and he said, when we got Arteta into this club, we told the fans to be patient. It's a process. It's a process, and we will slowly go through the process. And he said, we started to get rid of players that we didn't want at the club, whether they liked it or not. The fans were in uproar, and we told them all along, it's a process. Just let us be with it. And he goes, now we're seeing the fruitions, and now it's happening. But people weren't happy, fans weren't happy. But leave it with us, and we'll do it. And exactly that's what's happened. Yeah. Conte keeps saying patience, 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 patience. But the problem is with patience is everybody's got to be singing from the same book. And unfortunately at Spurs, they're not singing from the same book. What these, you know what, them discussions that they have when they're signing these contracts in the boardrooms, this Daniel Levy, Conte, Paratici chats and stuff like that. We need to know what's going on with these talks, because somebody's not telling the truth. Somebody's telling porcupines, and somebody's not telling us somebody's telling us what they want us to hear. And
right,
that is
and that's
the
because
problem.
There's NDA's been signed at this club. We know NDAs, you know, in this non-disclosure agreement. Jose had signed one. I know Jose signed one because when somebody comes out and said there's things about the club that I want to tell you, but I can't, that's an NDA agreement. When Conte goes back to Italy and his period of time's up, he's gonna be chatting. He's gonna come out like diarrhea. It's gonna come straight out of him. He's telling everybody the whole 9 yards which goes on at Spurs, because he's already trying to chip out there now. But because he's on this NDA, in my opinion, he can't say much more. But he's really pushed that level about what he can say. You wait till he's gone to Italy. He's gonna be singing like a proverbial canary. Sean, final thoughts
on.
Not Conte. Not Conte. Final thoughts on.
We beat a very poor team on Saturday. I wasn't there. Maybe that was the reason we won. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either, Sean.
I was on a train heading out of London.
Listen.
So I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. The season died at Bramall Lane. Not even at White Hart Lane, but where I was at the Milan game. It died at Bramall Lane. And you can't beat a Sheffield United B team. And Conte picked that team. That's what Stellini told us. He picked the team. So it's on him. On him. We could have been 2 steps from Wembley. 2 steps from Wembley, and he's sorry, I've had my final thoughts are
okay.
We're playing Southampton on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should win that game, but it's not guaranteed. I could see Kyle Walker-Peters scoring against us, you know. We've got some really winnable games coming up, but we should have beaten Wolves. Again, a game I was at. And there we had Forster punching the ball out into the middle of the box straight onto Traore's foot to win the game for them. So, yeah, I like Forster as a person. He's got good experience, but he's not better than Lloris. He's not better than Lloris.
Currently, I'm not talking about overall. I'm talking about currently, in current form. If you're going to put Lloris in current form this season,
Lloris had kept clean sheets. The reason we're top of the form, but is because Lloris was in goal. You know, I'm sorry, they're facts.
I'm not having that. Not seeing what I've seen from him as a goalkeeper this season. No chance. I don't mind to say that, yeah, over the period of time, Lloris is a better keeper, obviously. But at this moment in time, just like Son's playing shite, Son is a better player than Richarlison. But Son at the moment is not better than Richarlison. Son at the moment is not better than Kulusevski.
Son's not better than Danjuma. Son's not better. He's not better than Roman Mundell, who was on the bench at the weekend. Son is dead food.
Dead food. Right, Pav, you best take over. What's your final thoughts?
Get Conte out now.
Wow.
Why wait till the end of the season? Just get
because
him out
he's motivated to get top 4. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is I don't disagree with anything, but I just think he's motivated to get us top 4, and that's what we need now. That's all we need. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess. But do you know what?
Put that comment up from David Clark. Sheffield United lost their next game at home with their first team against Luton Town.
It's because he dropped the players that beat Spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, Pav. Go on, finish.
No,
finish
yeah.
your thought.
I was just going to say, do you know what? Just push for top 4. That's all we need to do. Like Sean said, we've got Southampton at the weekend. It's the Spursy thing to do to lose to them. But you know what? We can't afford that. I mean, they're fighting their asses off because they're bottom of the table. But do you know what? We need the 3 points, and as long as we can get top 4, that's the only thing that we're fighting for right now. So top 4, get Conte out ASAP. That's all I have to say.
All I'm going to throw out there, just before Sid gets his final thoughts in, we ain't got a plan to get a next manager in this moment in time.
Yeah.
So even if we threw Conte out, that means Mason is going to be in charge for the rest of the season. Now, if you're telling me that you want him in charge,
yeah, okay.
No. There's no plan there. Have they said, yeah, we're going to sack him and bring in Pep?
Ryan Mason won't dismiss us as a football club.
He might not but he's not got the credentials. I don't care how many games he's seen Tottenham play. He don't have the same gravitas as Conte.
Yeah,
even a Conte who's throwing the towel in is better than a Ryan Mason to the end of the season, in my personal opinion. Because I've seen what he can do when he's motivated. His body language showed me, I just want to do this for me. Ryan Mason ain't that character. So if that's what people want, I'm going to go on that train with you because I'm supporting the Spurs, but I know what will happen. Sid, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I'm not going to be negative. I'm just going to, you know what? We got 3 points. We beat Forest. Whether the Forest were crap or not crap. Normally we turn up against teams who are crap and we end up getting beat. So it's 1 foot going forward. We beat them 3-1. Comfortable or not comfortable, I'm not bothered. We won. And the other teams around us are slipping. So it's good. Like you said, we move on to next week. Southampton away. They're struggling big time. Got a draw against United. So they'll be up for it. They'll be fighting like mad. But we've just got to put in a performance.
Dr. Tottenham wants to see you. Dr. Tottenham wants to see you.
Absolutely. But we're now coming into this period where Conte came last season towards the end. Right?
Yeah.
David, I'm sorry. David, I agree with that's I'm there. If they sack Conte and put Ryan Mason in charge, I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. I can't do any more of this. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's a worthless exercise. But I don't think that's going to happen.
What about Yaya Toure?
Nah, he's not got his coaching. I think
he hasn't. And even if he did,
do you know what? There's an English guy in France who hasn't got his badges. He's costing his club 20 grand a week. He's unbeaten. He's won all his games.
I know.
But we have got Ledley King. I thought they were going to do the same with Ledley King. And I didn't see that happening. Do you know what I mean?
True.
They've got players. They've had players in this club that I think could have really been, looked at as being that pinnacle. Ledley King was definitely one of them. And he's nowhere to be seen anymore. Jose kind of brought him in, but nobody else is kind of, Jermaine Defoe's in the south. Like you said, these proper players, as I call them. Yaya Toure is a proper worldie. And them seeing him sitting up in the stands, watching the game, taking selfies on Instagram saying, this is what I'm doing. High up in the stands, by the way. Nowhere near the bench. That just shows you. That just tells me everything I need to know. But that's the comment there. Sid.
Yeah,
have
so
you finished?
I was going to say, this is now coming. We're coming to that point now where Conte was last season, where he came in with 11, 12 games to go and went on a run and we got into the top 4. He's now pinning himself and the team to do exactly the same, get back into the top 4. I know you guys were mocking it about the top 4, and you know, it's now they're looking at top 4 in the Prem as like, yes, we've got to take that. And I think at this stage we need to, because FA Cup would have cut you 2 million quid or whatever, right? Getting top 4 is going to get you how much money? And Champions League football next season, that is a hell of a lot more important than you know what I mean, winning 2 million in the cup. The cup is important, yes, but the prize money compared to finishing top 4 is massive for top 4. And you're not going to sack Conte now because he's got 2 months left of his contract. Like you said, you sack Conte, all his team go, everyone goes, and you're left with Ryan Mason and Billy Normates on there. Nobody's there, right? So then what are you going to do?
Chris Powell.
No.
Proper managers.
I don't
Proper
want to see
people who know what they're doing. I'm stop licking Conte's arse.
Not
everyone.
licking Conte's ass. All I'm saying is there is no.
He's only contracted
till
till June. He can pay him up to the end of June and get someone in already. There's a guy waiting in Barnet, waiting for a phone call from his pal Daniel.
I think it would be a mistake to sack him. In
I don't
my
think
opinion, be a massive mistake.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got a plan. If we have a plan,
If we had a plan.
different matter. Completely different matter, because they could say we're sacking, like they had with when they sacked was it Poch to get Jose in? It was that point. They knew what they did, because within 48 hours Jose was in the seat. They ain't got this. There's nobody in the seat, and I don't want to see the likes of Ryan Mason managing this team to the end of the season. There's too much at stake for us still to get. Remember, third is still a possibility. However silly that might seem to some people at the moment, that's still a huge possibility. Ryan Mason ain't getting us third. Conte can.
What does third and fourth? What does getting fourth or getting third mean? It doesn't mean
that's a different argument. I've had that argument. I'm not having that again, because I know it doesn't mean anything. But everybody else is saying top 4. So top 4 it then.
Top 4 it is, but we need to just be confident now going into Southampton game next week, because that, if there's a banana skin game next week, it's going to be the Southampton game, because they need the points big time. Look at Bournemouth, what they've done to Liverpool. Liverpool were on a cloud 27,000, weren't they, when they beat Liverpool?
We've got Bournemouth as well, Sid.
Say again?
We've got Bournemouth as well.
I know. So
We've
this is
got
now.
bananas. We're stepping from one banana skin to another
One
banana.
banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4. Anyway, yeah.
And I don't trust the coach.
Well,
Sean's made that quite clear in this episode of the reaction show. Thank you very much for watching. We've got some new.
Thing is, though, he's letting Levy off. He's letting Levy off, and he's the real problem. He's the major problem at our football club, Levy. But I tell you what, I'm Levy out, I'm Conte out, and I'm Maurizio. Thanks, but no thanks.
People are loving it anyway. Mojo, Sean's off on one. You've certainly made me laugh tonight. Sean, love your passion, mate. That's what it's about. We've all had some real passionate rants on this show, on this channel, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come. I'm trying to do like what Sis said: not get too high, not get too low. Just stay in there. Just gonna stay there, because it don't make any sense. Why? Why upset myself not knowing what they're gonna do? Do you know what I mean? I can put the team together. I think I can do. Nah, I'm not doing that anymore. Let's just hope that Conte does what Conte suggests he's going to do and put it all into the end of the season, because that's where I think we're going. We should sign Mr. Blobby. He'd probably score more goals than Lucas Moura, to be honest. Is Michael Bassett then? You've turned down Enoch. You turned down Eric Ten Hag.
He turned us down.
He did turn us down. I don't think he knew the score. Well, guys, Wednesday, I think I've got some opportunity to do Wednesday. If you guys are available, we might just do like a talking points, just see what comes out. Because what's come out tonight in this one, Sean, that needs to come out further, a lot more. Pav, if you're available, we'd like to see PvP on the show. Then Sid Spurs, as always. Paxton Road TV's own. One more. Good show, guys. Thank you very much. Good Beats Entertainment. Thank you for K Diaz in the house. Michael Bassett, new view over there. I think I haven't seen you before. David Clark, as always. Mojo. Who else have we got? Who else is giving us some good comments here? There's a few people up above. I've got to go all the way back to the top. Oh,
KD Retro Gaming.
Yeah, there we go. But Mr. Clark, as always, keeps me entertained and thoroughly entertained with some of them comments that you, and all of you comments that you sent in, by the way. So we're going to try and do some things soon where we're going to, get some of you guests onto the show via our StreamYard. We'll put it in there. We'll explain all that later. It's Matt. it's not Matthew Bassett. It's Matt Bassett. Matt Bassett in the house.
Matt.
There you go. Guys and girls, thank you very much. When is our next game? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Southampton away. 3 o'clock kickoff, is it?
Yes.
3 o'clocks in a row. That might have something in there. We might win that one, but we'll do a preview show where we'll just tell us everything we need to know. Dr. Tottenham, is he going to be around? Is he not? I don't know. Right, that's it. I'm going to try and find the music to take us out with. Thank you again to Sean. Thank you again to Pav. Thank you again, Sid. And thank you again to the viewers. Make sure you check out us, PRTV. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We will make some changes come the new season, but you'll be all the first to know. That is it. See you later.